Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to jump in a time machine and head back to 1999. Why? Because we're dissecting a blueprint for the future that honestly has become our reality. We are talking about Bill Gates's business at the speed of thought, and we're going to see just how shockingly well his predictions hold up today. Okay, so here's what we've got on tap. We'll start by painting a picture of 1999 so you can see the world this book came from. Then we'll dig into the biggest predictions, give our verdict on whether it's still relevant, pull out the number one lesson for right now, and finally, give you a couple more books to add to your list. So first up, let's look at this blueprint from 1999. We're talking about Bill Gates' vision for a totally digital world. And you have to remember, this was written when that screeching dial-up sound was the soundtrack to our lives, and paper literally ruled every single office. To really get the impact of this book, just think about the world back then. Windows 95 had only been out for a few years. Google was like a brand new startup. And Napster was just about to turn the entire music industry on its head. So into this world comes Gates, and he's not just spotting trends. He's basically writing the rulebook for the next 20 years. Okay, the central idea that holds this entire book together is what Gates called the digital nervous system. It's a fantastic metaphor, right? He said businesses needed to build a system that acts just like the human body's reflexes, where information flows instantly, connecting every single part of the company so it can react and make decisions, well, at the speed of thought. All right, now for the fun part, the core prophecies. We're going to look at 3 of Gates' biggest predictions and, honestly, see how spookily accurate they actually were. First off, making data available to everyone. Long before data-driven became the buzzword it is today, Gates was arguing that information shouldn't be some secret kept under lock and key in the C-suite. He believed that the people actually on the front lines, your managers, your sales team, they needed that real-time data to actually do their jobs right. And just think about that shift. Back in the 90s, you had these clunky executive information systems that gave a handful of top execs a look at data that was already a month old. Gates imagined a world of real-time dashboards for everybody, where any employee could slice and dice the data and, as he put it, pivot through opportunities. He was literally describing the modern workplace we live in now. Next up, his vision for e-commerce. At a time when most websites were basically just static online flyers, Gates saw something much bigger. He predicted that the real winners online wouldn't be the ones who just sold stuff, but the ones who used the internet to build an entire customer experience. And you can see that playing out everywhere. He was already pointing to companies like Dell, who were making custom web pages for their big clients, or Marriott, which was using its site for way more than just booking a room. He totally got that the web was about building relationships, not just acting like a digital cash register. And finally, his prediction about automation. This one is huge. Gates argued that digitizing all the boring, repetitive tasks wasn't really about cutting costs. Nope. The real win, he said, was freeing up human beings to do what they do best. Focus on strategy, on creativity, on the valuable stuff that computers just can't handle. I mean, look at how it worked in his own company, Microsoft. They automated things like buying supplies and booking travel. The result? The cost of processing a single order dropped from $145 to less than $5. But here's the kicker. The staff who used to just push paper all day got retrained for really important roles like recruiting and analysis. So automation wasn't about replacing people, it was about upgrading them. Okay, so time for the verdict. After all this time, is this book a timeless guide we should all be reading, or is it just a relic from the past? Yeah, that's the real question, isn't it? If you were running a company today, could you still use this book as your guide? Or does it really belong in a museum right next to a dusty old dial-up modem? Well, our take is pretty straightforward. The stuff he got right is just incredible. He completely nailed the future of data, the customer experience, and automation. But, his crystal ball wasn't perfect. It's really no surprise he missed the absolute dominance of the smartphone and the explosive power of social media. Back in '99, the internet was a place you went to on your PC, not something that lived in your pocket 24/7. And he couldn't have predicted the massive scale of today's data privacy issues either. So for its foundational, incredibly powerful, and just shockingly accurate vision of the digital workplace, we're giving business at the speed of thought a final grade of 8 out of 10. The core ideas aren't just relevant, they are literally the foundation of how modern business works. So what's the big takeaway? What's the one lesson from way back in 1999 that really, really matters for all of us today? The final lesson is just as powerful now as it was then. You have to build a system that lets your company take in information and act on it at the speed of thought. Step 1, digitize your processes. Step 2, make sure that information, especially the bad news that tells you where you need to improve, flows instantly to the right people. And step 3, empower those people to act on it right away. It's that constant loop: think, act, learn, and adapt. So if you enjoyed this look back at a really foundational business book, we've got a couple of other classics you might want to check out. First is The Innovator's Dilemma by Clayton Christensen. It's the go-to book for understanding why so many great companies fail when a new disruptive technology comes along. It's the perfect companion piece to what Gates was talking about. And then there's Peter Thiel's 0 to 1, which is a much more modern take on how to stop just competing with everyone else and start building something totally new. To get more deep dives into the big ideas and influential books that are shaping our world, make sure you hit that follow and subscribe button wherever you're watching. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.